we have 6 coins. They can either be heads or tails. And then the question is asking us to construct a table of all of the microstates. Now, this is a bit tedious in the sense that we will have about 64 microstates. So we know that we have 6 coins and they can either be heads or tails. So the number of microstates can be easily calculated by taking the base of two options to the 6th power, 6 coins, and this will be 64. So we have 64 microstates, and let's start on drawing this table. So the macrostate could be here, and for this macrostate, we can have so we'll have 6 heads, 0 tails, and then we can have, this will be the possible microstates, and then this will be the number of microstates. So we can have 6 heads or no tails, which is simply heads, 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 heads. Or we can have and number of microstates only 1, of course. Now we can have 5 heads, 1 tail, and this could be any one of 6. We probably have 6 microstates here. So this would be heads, 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 tails. We can also have heads, 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 tails, heads, heads. So you simply just need to, it is tedious in the sense that you just have to list them all. So H, H, T, H, 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 and then we have H, T, H, 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 and then of course T, H, H, H. So that would be our 6 microstates. Oh, no, you can just erase the line. And let's go for the next one. So this will be 4 heads, 2 tails. And the number of microstates here, I think, is, I would say 15. Let's see. Rather, let's not draw that line yet. So we have heads, 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 tails, tails, and then we can have tails, head, tails. We can also have heads, heads, tails, heads, tails. And tails, heads. Apologize. One more than needed. And we can have heads, 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 tails, heads, tails. heads, 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 tails, tails, head, and so on. We can draw them all out, but you essentially have to. There's 15 microstates for four heads, four heads, two tails. You're gonna have to simply take the two and take the two heads and take the two tails rather, and switch them up as much as possible until you have every possible combination. Let's go to 3 heads, 3 tails, and here we have 20 microstates. So this would be the most complicated case because again, there's the most amount of combinations, and then so we can start with heads, 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 tails, tails, tails. We can get heads, heads, head. We can rather heads, heads, and then it'll be tails, heads, tails, tails. We can do heads, tails, heads, heads, tails, 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 heads, head, head, tail, tail, and so on. It's again, you have to just write them all out. However, after you get past the third one, you're simply after you get past 3 heads, 3 tails, then you have 2 heads, 4 tails. And this will have the same number of microstates as 4 heads, 2 tails. So this will also be 15. And then we have 1 head, 5 tails. Again, the number of microstates here is going to be 6, the same amount as 5 heads, 1 tail. And then we have 6 tails, 0 heads, and the number of microstates here will of course be 1. So if you were to add them all up, we have 1 plus 6 plus 15 plus 20 plus 15 plus 6 plus 1. And this is of course 64 microstates. We have already calculated this. And then the question is asking, what's the probability of obtaining 3 heads? So the probability of 3 heads, 3 tails is simply going to be equal to the total number of microstates of that section, so 20 microstates, divided by the total number of microstates, 64. So this will be, we can say 5 over 16. That'll be the probability. And then for B, it's asking us for the probability of 6 heads. And there's only 1 microstate, so this will be 1 over 64. So these will be our 2 probabilities, and unfortunately, to create the table, you simply have to go through all of the possible combinations of heads and tails that you can possibly get, and then count them all up, add them all up, and make sure that they add up to 64. Because again, we're getting 2 to the 6 microstates, 64 microstates. So again, we're gonna have to just draw out this table. However, a hint: once you get to 3 heads, once you get past 3 heads, 3 tails, 2 heads, 4 tails, 1 head, 5 tails, and 6 tails, 0 heads, that is going to be a lot easier because then you can just reverse the order of the first 3 sections that you have here. And that's the end of the solution. Again, those probabilities are 5 over 16 and 1 over 64. That's the end of the solution. Thank you for watching.